Hey there, guys. Justice Cannon here. Now I know for a fact that I've already done two other additional episodes, so I figured, hey, why not go three in a row? And for this particular episode, we're going to be focusing on one of the very first sniper rifles you unlock in the game, the Remington M40A5 sniper rifle. And believe me when I tell you that, yes, sir, guys, this sniper rifle here is absolutely great. It is what I consider to be a on the higher end tier of sniper rifles, despite of it being a bolt action sniper rifle, but it can still help you get the job done. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and go through some of the pros and cons to start off with about the M40A5 sniper rifle. First off, the pros. The M40A5 does some pretty considerable amount of damage. Now it does not do. Now it is not in the top tier here by no means, but it does. But it really can help you get the job done whenever you need it. It really is quite effective at a long range. But one thing to consider mind of is that rapid drop off. If you're not careful, that drop off is really going to hamper your performance. The next thing, of course, but that of course for another session altogether. Despite of it being a bolt action sniper rifle, it really does have a pretty fair generous speed and rate of fire. Now it's not going to be the best by any means, but it really does hold up well in the rate of fire department. Again, despite of it being a bolt action rifle, it even holds up. It even holds up quite well in terms of reload speed and handling. Now the reload speed is not the fastest because it is going to take you're probably going to be looking about somewhere between 4.6 to 4.8 seconds for a full reload. Whether or not if it still has a round in the chamber, though it really doesn't compensate for that. So anyways, my friends, that there are the main strengths. Those are the key strengths to the M40A5. Is that it has a generous amount of damage, but where it really excels in is speed. Not so much in terms of reload speed, but in the speed of rate of fire. But now let's go on to the not so good things about it. As I've stated before, its reload speed is not really the best as in its class by any means. Its reload speed is not that very well effective. But another thing to keep in mind is that bullet drop off. So if you are planning on going after targets that are farther than about 250 meters or so, you really need to take that into consideration. You need to take the bullet drop into consideration. So do keep in mind about the drop off. Another key thing to be aware of is that reload speed. It's not going to be the fastest by any means because it does take close to 5 seconds to reload a fresh magazine. One more key thing to be aware of is its accuracy. It's not going to be the most accurate sniper rifle 100% of the time. Especially when it comes to moving targets, because you have to constantly lead or guide eye your sights to the general direction and of where your target is going to go. But that isn't always going to be a guaranteed hit, especially when it comes to going against a helicopter like what I'm doing right now. So yeah, those are the three key characteristics or weaknesses as of the M40A5. It's rapid drop-off, it's sluggish reload time, and it's not going to be straightforward and accurate 100% of the time, especially against a moving target. So with that there being said, let's go ahead and make our way over to the main stats of the M40A5 sniper rifle. Alright guys, so here are the base stats. Here are the base stats for the M40A5 sniper rifle. Now, as you can see, it does have a generous amount of damage, and its handling is on the lower half spectrum of it. Same can be said for penetration and rate of fire. But when you add in the suppressor, its noise reduction is fairly good, but without it, it's going to create a little bit of noise. But when it comes to accuracy and range, it's on the top tier scale. But where it really shines, of course, is its magazine capacity. So you are going to have plenty of ammunition to spare and shoot. So as we can see, you start off with a standard 10-round magazine, but if you ever feel like 10 rounds isn't enough, you could always go for the extended 20-round magazine. But do keep in mind that is going to hamper your handling characteristics fairly enough. So just something to help keep in mind and into consideration. But when you do pick up a new sniper rifle, you're either going to start off either with a TA31H ACOG scope or the digital scope. Or even at times the T5XI tactical scope. Which any one of those three is helpful, but just make sure you pay close attention to how it's going to hamper your performance. Just so that help keep in mind. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do a recoil test to see how bad, or to see the effects of the recoil. This looks like a pretty good enough spot. Seems to be away from anybody. We should be good to go. So this here is one of the default scopes that you start with. There is going to be a little bit of sway, so definitely something to keep in mind if you're using any kind of large scope weapons. And as you can see, in terms of the recoil, it does go up a little bit, but it quickly goes back, especially while you are cycling the sniper scopes, or any kind of scope for that matter. But in terms of attachments and recoil stabilization, there's really not a whole lot to go on here, especially in terms of recoil. Well, you're still going to feel that kick. You are going to feel a little bit of that recoil kick, but you're not going to be firing in those rounds in rapid pace, unlike you would a semi-automatic sniper rifle. So again, something to keep in mind. So now that I talked to you a little bit about the pros and cons, let me go ahead and show you, and of course the recoil test, let me tell you a little history about this weapon. The M40 series of sniper rifles, well, it actually started out in 1966, thanks by one of my top 3 favorite weapon manufacturing companies, Remington Arms. It started out, of course, as the regular M40 sniper rifle, but over time it's done some reworks and it has done some revisions, starting with the M40A1, eventually the M40A3 in the early 2000s, and of course in 2009, the M40A5 was introduced to become the top performing sniper rifles for the US Marine Corps. And why is it so popular? Why is it so effective? Because the Springfield M40 and M24 sniper rifles is based on the Remington 700 sniper systems. And it's still going strong today with many police and Marine Corps forces today. So with that, now that we've done through the pros and cons, did the recoil test, a brief history, what attachments would I recommend? What attachments would I personally recommend for the M40A5? Well, there really isn't a whole lot of attachments that you can do. You could only change the scope, the magazine, the barrel, and the muzzle. So what kind of scope would I recommend? Well, buddy, if you want to focus a little bit more on handling, able to snap at targets in and out quite fast, I recommend either the G28 scope, the POSP, the TARS 101, or the digital scope. If you're more concerned about handling than you are range. But if you want to focus on that range, focus on its key strength, then I would recommend either the T5XI tactical scope, the PKS-07, or the TARS 101. If you want to do the POSP or G28 scope, that's fine. You are going to get a little bit of some balance in there. But me personally, I favor the PKS-07, which is kind of a little bit of ironic because it is a Russian sniper scope, and yet I put it on a American sniper rifle. A little bit oxymoronic, don't you think? Now as for magazine capacity, you can go 20 rounds if you want to, but I think the standard 10-round magazine is plenty enough. No need for you to go overboard and risk that handling characteristics. Now, in terms of barrel attachment, you got your standard barrel, your long barrel, or your short barrel. But for me personally, I'd rather keep it in the middle of the road because your handling characteristic with the sniper rifle is going to be sluggish already at the start. Now, you can use a longer barrel to get a little more damage, but it's going to hurt your handling stat heavy and hard. So I would not recommend the long barrel attachment by any means. If you want to improve your short barrel, but with a little sacrifice of damage and range, you can go with the short barrel and to help improve that mobility a little bit. But again, I'd rather just keep it the standard barrel, keep it middle of the road. That way you can still keep that damage and range without sacrificing handling. Now in terms of muzzle attachment, if you get a compensated V2 for your sniper rifle, which can be found in the Romanzo province, that's fine with the slight sacrifice of noise reduction for the handling characteristics, that's fine. But if you want to keep your shots quiet, you can attach a suppressor on there. Again, totally up to you. But I would rather just keep the muzzle. I'd just rather keep the stock muzzle as it is. So, what are my final thoughts about the M40A5 sniper rifle? Well, it's this. The M40A5 sniper rifle is a good starting sniper rifle to have, at least until you get a new one. At least until you get a new sniper rifle to replace it. the M40A5 is a really good starting sniper rifle to have. It's got plenty of damage. Its rate of fire is generous. Its accuracy is one of the top tier. Its range is very good. Even if you use just a regular ACOG or digital scope, you're not going to have any problems with the range at all. Just do keep in mind that now that the reload speed is going to be sluggish because you're looking at close to a 5-second and reload. And of course, the bullet drop. Keep in mind now, the bullet drop is going to hurt you, especially if you go after targets that are farther than around 250 meters. So with that so now, in conclusion, my final thoughts. How much would I recommend the M40A5 sniper rifle? Well, for me, like I said, the M40A5 is a good, balanced, starting sniper rifle to start off with. And for a good portion of the campaign, but you don't have to keep it all the way to the end. You don't have to do that. You can go into different weapons if you want to. But just so you know, that this is of course just my opinion. So yeah, the M40A5 sniper rifle, it's a great starting weapon to have. And it's just a great gun and all around, really good balanced and set. So yeah. So with that there being said, thank you so much for enjoying this. So thank you very much for watching and enjoying the 4th episode of my Ghost Recon Wildlands weapons review video. I originally intended to go over the P45T pistol, but I just got so caught up with my sniper rifle that I skipped ahead. But I can guarantee. But not worry though, guys, because the P45T pistol will be coming up next. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me down in the comments below what you think about the M40A5 sniper rifle. Do you think it's really good? Do you think it's really bad? Or do you think it's somewhere in the middle? Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. It'll really help me out. Anyways, guys, take care and stay safe. Bye.